The upcoming months of February, March, April, May till June, if you're thinking of a trip to Chikmagaluru, Udupi, Shimoga, Uttar Kannada, then beware, this video is for you. This could be your one-way trip. Today, we are talking about a highly endemic disease which is specific to Shimoga and has been a deadly disease. We are talking about the KFD disease, which is caused by the KFD virus. The one-way path is going to remind us of the fact that this virus is a single-stranded RNA virus which is enveloped in nature. We are going to talk about 3 trees which you encounter in this adventurous journey and how it's going to be crippling for you. Once you take this single-stranded RNA path which is enveloped, you encounter the first tree. The first tree talks about the general characteristic of the disease. Look at the bark of the tree. Here you see a vaccine which is created by the chick embryo culture by formalin inactivation. It could also be done by tissue culture. As you look at the center of the tree, you see the Flaviviridae, which is colorful in nature and neurotropic. This virus loves the CNS. It likes to be in the spinal cord, the brain, the nerves, and it belongs to the family of Flaviviridae. On one of the branches of the tree, you see the vector of this disease, that is the hard tick. The hard tick, which is also called as the Haemaphysalis spinigera, is the vector of this virus and is the one who is causing this disease mainly. This tick, this hard tick, this Haemaphysalis spinigera is highly anthropophilic, and whoever passes through the forest, it is ready to bite you. Are you ready to take this path? On the other branches, you see another important character of the virus, that is, this is similar to Russian spring summer encephalitis virus. Well, again, it's similar to Russian spring summer encephalitis virus. Then you go to the next tree on your path, on your single one-way path. You encounter the other property tree. On the other property tree, you talk about the incubation period. You see one of the branches which talks about the incubation period. The incubation period for this disease is 2 to 7 days. The other branch of this tree hosts the host. Lol. Hosts the host. The host here is a mammal, that is langur, or any other small rodent. Then you take another gaze on the next branch. You see that it speaks about the neutralizing antibodies which are found in people who are infected by this virus through the vector, which is the hard tick. Through the bushes, you somehow escape and then come across the last important tree. This tree is the clinical feature tree. As you look at one of the top branches, you see that the clinical feature is a combination of chills, frontal headache with high fever of about 40 degrees Celsius. This is for about 12 days, along with myalgia, that is body pain, cough, and some diarrhea. And then, if it's greater than 12 days, there is the second phase. Here, this second phase lasts for 2 to 12 days, where there is neck stiffness, there is mental disturbance, and there are associated conditions. This disease has a high convalescent period, which is expressed by another branch of this tree. And finally, the last branch talks about how this disease relapses after 1 to 2 weeks of afebrile period. Okay, you really want to rethink about taking this trip. Still curious, you want to know how this endemic disease, which is so dangerous, takes its life cycle. How does it go through with different stages of life? Then you come across the life cycle. The life cycle can be remembered as MSD, as the famous cricket captain, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. MSD would suggest of September, December and May. MSD, right? May, September, December. So let's break down the life cycle into 3 parts. And from December to May, this is the period of outbreak. So here is a condition where you see that the virus or the tick specifically, which is having the virus within it, the tick feeds on small animals like pygmy shrew. the man is an accidental host. Man was never intended, like our whole organism, like Echinococcus. This virus talks about the fact that man was not the one who was intended to be infected by this virus. So here, this virus did not mean to attack, or the hard tick did not mean to bite a human, but man is the accidental host in this condition. So briefly put, the life cycle is like this. Once in September, the fed adult lays eggs. These eggs break down and there is, these unfed larvae which come out of the eggs. These larvae feed on small mammals, and once they are fed, these larvae are fed now. Now by the end of December, or by the starting of December, these fed larvae get converted to unfed nymphs. They go to their next life cycle part, that is the nymph. And here the nymph, which is unfed, from December it will go and feed on small organisms like pygmy shrew. And by the time of May, this nymph is fully fed. From December till May, the nymph is feeding on the pygmy shrew. And from the May, this nymph is now getting converted to an adult, and this adult is again unfed, right? So it now wants a larger organism, a larger mammal. So it feeds on larger mammals like an elephant, and after it feeds on that, this adult is fed. And by this time, it's already September. So this life cycle is almost complete. So from a September, where it starts as an egg, it comes back to September, where it is a fed adult. So this time between December to May is the period of outbreak, where a human or people like you would like to travel to Shimoga and they get bitten by the hard tick and they become the accidental host with frontal headache and high fever till 40 degrees, and they're having back pain and conditions like that. It is an acute prostrating febrile illness, and out of 100 people, 10 to 15 people die. There is also a recent study or a recent incident where a lab which was hosting this virus and the people who were trying to take care of this virus without having proper equipment or proper safety measures basically died because of this virus. This virus is pretty scary. So this was the story of KFD, and there is no treatment to this disease, right? The vaccine is the only mode of treatment or prevention basically. And if you're living somewhere near Shimoga, beware of this virus or this disease itself. Lab diagnosis is pretty simple. You check for antibodies of this specific virus, IgM antibodies, and then you check for RT-PCR, and if you check for ELISA. And treatment is symptomatic treatment basically. If you are having diarrhea, you give enough fluids to take care of the fluid loss. Then there is a specific importance of the vaccine. So the vaccine is given to areas which are in and around Shimoga. Vaccine was produced by the famous Hafkin Institute of Mumbai, and the schedule is as such: you give 2 doses at an interval of 2 months, and followed by you give booster doses at 6 to 9 months, and then every 5 years. And this talks about the important story of KFD, a trip which is a one-way trip, which I really want you to rethink about. And there are 3 trees which remind us of all the 3 important properties.